Simpler. Most people think success is attracted by talent, money, or luck. But look closer at life, and you'll notice something deeper. Why do some people enter a room and instantly gain respect while others speak and get ignored? Why do some rise slowly but surely while others rise fast and fall even faster? The answer is simple, yet most people ignore it. Character is the magnet, not your words, not your image, not your connections, but who you are when no one is watching. People don't hear your words first, they feel your energy, your integrity, your presence. Before you even open your mouth, life is already responding to what you carry inside. The way you walk into a room, the way you treat a stranger, the way you behave when there is no reward and cite these things speak louder than any sentence you will ever say. Simpler. There is something deeper in human nature that cannot be fooled. It reads beyond appearance and listens beyond speech. It senses truth or it senses emptiness. That is why sometimes a silent person is respected more than a loud one, because silence wrapped in integrity carries weight, and loudness without character feels hollow, no matter how polished the words may be. In the eyes of people and in the order of life itself, your character becomes your identity before your name is even remembered. You may introduce yourself with confidence, you may present your achievements, but what truly lingers in hearts is not what you said about yourself, but what your behavior revealed when pressure was applied, when patience was tested, when honesty was inconvenient. Simpler. In a deeper sense, faith teaches that nothing about a person is hidden from the one who created them. Even what is concealed in silence is known. A person may hide from the world, but not from accountability. Every intention, every hidden choice, every private decision carries weight. And this awareness alone should make a person careful with their character even when no one is watching, because there is always a witness beyond human sight. Emotionally, this is where life becomes real, because people are not just judged by society, they are felt by society. A kind heart leaves warmth without speaking. A dishonest heart creates distance without explanation. A disciplined soul brings peace into chaos without trying. And a careless spirit creates discomfort even in silence. Simpler. Think about the times you met someone and felt something immediately: trust, respect, discomfort, or distance, without a single deep conversation. That feeling was not random. It was your character communicating before your words had a chance to form meaning. It was presence speaking louder than language. And in those unseen moments, your future is quietly being decided, not by what you plan to say, but by what you consistently represent. Because life does not respond to intention alone, it responds to embodiment. It responds to what you are becoming, not what you are pretending to be. There is a powerful truth hidden in this. You cannot separate your presence from your personality, and you cannot separate your personality from your actions. Every small decision becomes a signal. Every reaction becomes a message. Every choice becomes a reflection that travels further than you can control. Simpler. When faith is brought into this understanding, it becomes even heavier in meaning. A person is not only responsible for their public image, but also for their private truth. Even the unseen moments are part of a larger moral account, and this awareness builds a deeper kind of discipline, not for applause, but for alignment, not for recognition, but for righteousness. One good action doesn't define you, your daily habits do. Because reputation is not a single moment, it is a collection of repeated choices stacked silently over time until the world finally gives it a name. People often misunderstand how respect is earned. They think it comes from one big achievement, one powerful speech, one impressive success story. But life does not build trust on highlights. It builds trust on patterns, on consistency, on what you do again and again when no one is clapping, when no one is recording, when no one is rewarding. Simpler. Your character is not proven in your best day. It is revealed in your ordinary days. The way you act when nothing special is happening, when there is no pressure to perform, when no one is watching closely, that is where your real identity is being recorded. A single honest action can impress people, but repeated honesty builds a name that cannot be questioned. One act of kindness can move someone emotionally, but consistent kindness creates a reputation that follows you even when you are not present. One moment of discipline can inspire others, but a lifetime of discipline builds influence that speaks without words. And this is where most people struggle. They rely on intensity instead of consistency. They try to change their image quickly instead of building their identity slowly. But reputation does not respond to sudden effort. It responds to sustained behavior. Simpler. In life, there is a silent accumulation happening every day. Every choice is being added to your story. Every reaction is shaping how people unconsciously categorize you. Over time, these small repetitions form something stronger than opinion. They form belief. And belief is powerful because once people believe who you are, they stop questioning your actions. They start expecting them. From a deeper perspective, this is also where accountability becomes personal. Because even when no one is tracking your habits, they are still tracking you in reality. Not socially, but existentially. Every repeated action is shaping not only how others see you, but how you become internally structured as a person. Faith reminds us that nothing is wasted in repetition. Every small deed carries weight. Every consistent action leaves an imprint. A person is not defined by occasional goodness, but by sustained righteousness. And just like that, a person is not destroyed by one mistake, but by repeated neglect of correction. Emotionally, this truth is both heavy and hopeful. Heavy because it shows how carefully life is always recording you. Hopeful because it means change is always possible, not through one big moment, but through new repetition, a different pattern, a better habit, a quieter discipline. Because in the end, reputation is not something you announce. It is something that forms around you when your behavior stops needing explanation and starts speaking for itself. Strong character pulls opportunities toward you without you forcing anything. Because life does not always respond to pressure, it responds to presence. It responds to the kind of person you have become when no one was watching you build it. Most people spend their energy running after opportunities, thinking success is somewhere outside of them, waiting to be grabbed. But they miss a deeper truth. Real opportunities are not hunted like something lost in the world. They are drawn like a response to who you are becoming internally. When your character is strong, your discipline becomes visible even before your results do. People sense reliability in you without needing long explanations. They notice consistency in your actions, honesty in your speech, and stability in your behavior. And without realizing it, they begin to trust you before they even fully know you. That trust is the real magnet. Because in every field of life, whether business, relationships, or leadership, people don't invest in noise, they invest in certainty. They don't attach themselves to those who constantly chase validation, but to those who naturally carry value. There is something powerful about a person who does not need to prove themselves loudly. Their actions already carry weight. Their silence already carries meaning. Their discipline already carries direction. And in that quiet strength, opportunities begin to move differently. Doors don't always need to be knocked down when your presence makes them open naturally. People start recommending you without being asked. Situations start aligning without being forced. And paths begin to appear, not because you pushed, but because you prepared. From a deeper reflection, life seems to respond more to alignment than effort alone. Effort without character feels unstable, but effort rooted in integrity feels trustworthy, and trust is what creates access. Faith also reminds us that provision does not only come through struggle, it comes through alignment. When a person remains honest, patient, and consistent, even in unseen moments, life begins to respond in ways they did not calculate. Sustenance, opportunities, and openings arrive from directions they never controlled. Emotionally, this truth reshapes pressure into peace. Because instead of constantly chasing what is outside, a person begins to focus on what is inside. Instead of forcing outcomes, they start refining identity. Instead of running after doors, they start becoming someone's doors naturally open for. And slowly, the mindset shifts from desperation to dignity, from chasing to attracting, from striving without direction to becoming the kind of person life responds to. Without resistance, you may rise without discipline or honesty, but you cannot stay there. Because success built without character is like a structure built on sand. It may stand for a moment, but it cannot withstand pressure, time, or truth. There are people who move upward quickly in life. They get attention, recognition, and even power. From a distance, it looks like success has chosen them. But what is often unseen is the foundation underneath. If that foundation is weak, every achievement becomes fragile, every victory becomes uncertain, and every step upward becomes heavier than the last. Character is what holds success in place when pressure arrives. Without it, success becomes something you are constantly afraid of losing. You start managing image instead of building substance. You start protecting appearances instead of strengthening truth. And slowly, the very success that once felt like freedom becomes a burden of maintenance. Because dishonesty may open a door, but it cannot keep it open. Lack of discipline may bring speed, but it cannot sustain direction. And shortcuts may create arrival, but they cannot create stability. Life has a way of testing what is real and what is borrowed. And in those tests, only what is rooted survives. There is a deep emotional cost to success without character. It creates fear behind the smile, anxiety behind the achievement, restlessness behind the recognition. A person begins to live in constant awareness that everything they have built depends on hiding what they avoided becoming. But true stability comes from alignment. When discipline is present, success becomes manageable. When honesty is present, success becomes peaceful. When character is present, success becomes sustainable. Because then you are not protecting an illusion, you are living a reality. Simpler. Faith also reminds us that elevation without integrity is not protection. Blessings are not meant to be carried without responsibility. Every gain carries accountability. And when a person ignores that balance, what is gained externally can become a test internally. Not every rise is a reward sometimes. It is a reflection of how far a person still has to align their actions with their values. Emotionally, this truth brings both warning and clarity. Warning because it shows how fragile success becomes when character is missing. Clarity because it shows how powerful stability becomes when character is present. Simpler. And in that understanding, success stops being seen as just arrival and starts being seen as endurance, as something that must be lived with consistency, not just achieved with speed. What you repeatedly do builds trust far louder than what you say. Because words are easy to produce, but consistency requires character. Promises can be spoken in a moment, but consistency is revealed over time through actions that are repeated even when motivation is gone, even when no one is watching, even when there is no immediate reward. People don't build trust on your intentions. They build trust on your patterns. They don't remember what you said once in a motivated moment. They remember what you kept doing when life became normal again. That is where real credibility is formed. Simpler. A promise can impress someone emotionally, but repetition convinces them logically. And human trust is not built on emotion alone. It is built when emotion is confirmed by behavior again and again. When your actions remain aligned with your words across different situations, different moods, and different pressures, something powerful happens. Doubt slowly disappears. But the moment there is inconsistency, even small, trust starts to weaken. Not because people are harsh, but because they are observing reality. They are watching whether your words have weight or whether they are just temporary expressions of intention. Consistency is not loud. It does not need explanation, does not require defense. It simply shows up again and again and quietly builds a reputation that speaks louder than any promise ever could. Simpler. In life, the most respected individuals are rarely the ones who spoke the most promises. They are the ones who showed up the most consistently. The ones who remained stable in their behavior when circumstances changed. The ones who didn't depend on motivation but on discipline. There is a deeper emotional truth here. People feel safe around consistency. It creates psychological comfort. It removes uncertainty. It builds predictability in a world that is otherwise unstable. And when people feel that safety, trust becomes natural. From a reflective perspective, consistency is also a mirror of inner discipline. Because what you repeatedly do externally is often a reflection of what is stable internally. A scattered mind produces scattered actions. A disciplined mind produces consistent actions. And over time, people begin to trust not just what you do, but who you are becoming through what you do. Simpler. Faith also brings another layer of meaning to this principle. It reminds us that sincerity is not measured by declarations, but by persistence in good actions. A person is valued not by occasional goodness, but by steady commitment to what is right. Even small actions, when repeated with intention, carry weight in both human perception and moral accountability. Simpler. Emotionally, this truth is grounding. It removes the pressure of trying to impress others through big statements and replaces it with the quiet responsibility of building reliability through small, repeated actions. Because in the end, people do not build lasting trust on what is promised, they build it on what is proven. Over time, anyone can act right when life is easy, but pressure exposes the real person. Because comfort never demands truth from you. It never tests your patience, your honesty, your discipline, or your emotional control. Comfort simply allows you to exist without challenge. But pressure reveals what was already inside you. When everything is smooth, people can appear patient, kind, and controlled. But when situations tighten, when expectations rise, when losses happen, when emotions are triggered, that is when reality speaks. In those moments, words lose value and behavior takes over. What you truly are begins to surface without permission. Simpler. Pressure does not create character, it uncovers it. That is why two people can face the same difficulty and respond completely differently. One remains steady, controlled, and responsible. The other becomes reactive, dishonest, or inconsistent. The situation is the same, but what is inside them is different. Pressure simply acts like a mirror, reflecting what was already present beneath the surface. There is a deep emotional truth in this. People don't break under pressure because pressure is too strong. They break because their foundation was never strong enough. When discipline is missing, emotions take control. When honesty is weak, shortcuts become tempting. When patience is low, decisions become impulsive. But a person built on character behaves differently. Pressure does not shake them, it refines them. It does not expose weakness, it strengthens awareness. They begin to understand themselves more deeply, not in comfort, but in challenge. In life, pressure is unavoidable. It comes through responsibilities, relationships, expectations, failures,